I think we all had embarrassing stories, in past lives, pre-Gainsight, and this sort of inspired me to kind of think about Gainsight. I remember being, product manager at a, big company, Symantec, and I would go, or I was a VP, like general manager or something, and I was going to see a client, and I was with the sales team, and about talking about a big expansion, and of course the client meeting turns into all the issues they have that we didn't even know about, that lack of probably support you about them, we didn't know about them. So that's kind of I think something a lot of people can relate to, is being blindsided. That's a real issue that a lot of people struggle with, is being blindsided at a client, which is pretty embarrassing because and also has an impact, right? Because if you knew in advance, you'd be prepared, you'd have all the information at your fingertips, but if you didn't, you'd just sort of be stuck there and try to spin it on sort of real time. I think another example is we have made, even at Gainsight, very tactical errors. I wouldn't call them nightmares, but they're just embarrassing. Because obviously, especially given who we are, right? We want to be experts at all this stuff. And so I remember we created one of our technologies lets you automate your customer communications. It's called Journey Orchestrator. It's really, really cool. But because of a data issue, to your point, we emailed a welcome email, one of the first things with this new technology, to all of our customers, not just the new ones, but all of them, right? And it's kind of one of those little things, whatever, nobody minds that much. It's not really, but it's still kind of embarrassing, and I think a lot of us have been through some of those embarrassing situations where you just didn't, you're like, oh, that's not putting our best foot forward, And I think maybe the third kind of category is when you make a decision based on faulty data. And that's probably where the impact is the biggest. Yeah. Where you I think an example that is kind of probably ties into your world a little bit is, I would argue that we have made suboptimal segmentation decisions in our business. None of them were nightmares, but more we could have done better. By having better data about our customers in terms of some of the firmographic and other information. Also, having that data kind of linked together between different sources. You end up in very coarse things everyone over this number of employees has this treatment, everyone under has this. But it's such a generic treatment.
It's very draconian.
Very draconian. And so it doesn't really align to their needs, nor necessarily their economic value to you. And so I would argue that our segmentation over the years has been suboptimal because of a lack of good data in the world that you live in. So,
and I think what we see oftentimes is it's not that you don't have access to that data. You haven't successfully operationalized it. You probably have, subscriptions to data providers that are going to help fill in that information that you can then build more sophisticated kind of conditional based, nested logic based segments. And we run into that often. It's actually one of the first things that Ringlead does is we do that analysis and then kind of make some prescriptive suggestions. So yeah, that totally resonates with me.